Day Fret friends, it is Saturday morning, it's the 5th of October, year of our Lord 2019, and it is new project day, and we have something, well, I say nice, it should be nice. Let me show you what we have in. We have an electro-acoustic guitar, great looking thing, and yes, it's a Taylor, and it's, I won't say quite a lower end Taylor, but it's at the more budget end of the guitars, and this is a big old Grand Auditorium size guitar. The model number 214CE, which itself, you'd think CE would mean cedar, wouldn't you? But no, it doesn't in this case. So I don't know what it means. It's electro-acoustic, and this one belongs to not just a client, but a friend of mine, Mitch Hamilton from up Sheffield Way, Rotherham Way, and he's bought this down. He's just bought this, and it wants a little bit of fettling, and the action on this, the problem with this is the action is really high, and I mean at 12 fret it's like 4.5mm, so there are a few things we can do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read you the specs of this guitar before I continue. Just want to show there, look at this wood here, and I thought, that's strange, I wonder what kind of wood this is. It looks like it's something stained, and with this discoloration here where it's faded, I thought, well, you know, we made it look like ebony, but it's not going to be ebony. Well, I'm wrong about that. It actually is supposed to be an ebony fingerboard. So, you know, so I'm going to read you the specs that I have from the Taylor website. And a couple of things are different about this one. Maybe because this is an earlier model, I've got a spec from the latest. And it does have a, I believe it's Hawaiian Koa back and sides. See if I can just get you the specs up here. Scale length 25.5, Tuscan nut and saddle, X bracing, truss rod cover, black plastic. It's not a very good impression of black plastic. That is a piece of wood, so we're going to leave that as is. It does have it does say an ebony veneer on the top of the headstock. Again, I always thought ebony was black, or almost black. Obviously that is unstained ebony. What else we got? The top is spruce, solid spruce. We have the problem with the top. I'll tell you all about that in a minute. Blah blah blah, body, right, okay, top finish, gloss, blah blah blah, back config, layered, blah 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 blah, satin finish, back and sides, okay. What's it saying the bodywood is made of? It doesn't. Neck, I know it's a Sapelli neck because I've read that on another website. Ebony fretboard, oh it is Sapelli neck, yeah, that's right. There you go, so there you go. It does have their own, the electrics are, I can't remember what it said about this, oh, the Expression 2 system or the ES2 sound system. Bodywood, layered Koa, I do believe it said Hawaiian Koa. Solid Sitka spruce top. So, what is the problem with this guitar? Well, I've got a few problems with it. The biggest problem being that when Mitch bought it, probably the first day he got it, he put a big ding in it, which means he can't return it. So he's got to have it fixed. Now the action at the 12th fret I'm going to show you, and I have already straightened the neck, so the neck's totally straight. Look at the action there at the 12th fret. It's about 4mm. We need to get that down. Ideally, my guitars I have them to about 2mm. I've told Mitch we'll probably get this down to 2.5, but there are a few problems with this. Now the neck, I've put a not straight edge on there. I've straightened the neck as much as I can while Mitch was here, so we can have a look. Frets have not been checked. We could probably still straighten that neck a bit to get the action down because it's now under tension. But a couple of things we are going to do. Now we do have some belly bulge here and the bridge is pulling forward. So there's a way to remedy that. We also have plenty of material on the saddle, so we're going to remove something from the bottom of the saddle to bring the action down, and we're going to straighten the neck. But what I have planned to do, Mitch was bringing it in for a setup today. I says the setup's not good enough. This guitar has been sat in a box, probably too dry, too warm a room. It's dried out. The bridge is pulled forwards, so that's raised the action. The neck is not straight, it has too much relief in it. And the saddle is cut a bit high. So what I am going to do is, we're going to fix this belly bulge first. It's the first thing I'm going to do. And now we do that is, I've fixed a belly bulge on 3 or 4 guitars in the past, and that is a great way to do it. And what we need to do is, this top is dried out, and here, it arcs that way. Looking this way, it's got an arc over that way, which it should have a little bit of one, but this is too high. And also, the top, you run your hand across here, you can feel it up, down, up, down, up, down. It's kind of rippled. So what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of this. And how we're going to do that is, we're going to do a couple of things. We're going to clamp the top, for starters, But we're not just going to clamp the top and hope it straightens out. We don't do that. What we're going to do is we're going to take something like a takeaway pot, probably not this one because this is too thick, and we're going to stick it. This cloth's going to be damp. We're going to saturate it, and we're going to stick this in the sand hole, and we're going to put it under here, and we're going to let that sit for 3 days like that. What we're going to do is we're not just going to leave it like that. We're actually going to seal over the sand hole. We're going to leave that in there 3 days, and that is going to put moisture back in the wood. Obviously the strings are going to be off. You can't be doing that under tension. So strings off, that inside, and what we're going to do is I'm going to brace the top. And to brace the top, what I will do is I'll take something like my levelling beam, and we're going to brace the top here. We're going to clamp underneath. We're going to put some blocks of wood underneath each side, and we're going to clamp. And once we've got this inside with the water and everything, we're going to leave it a day with no clamping. Then on the second day, we're going to put this on top, and we're going to clamp each side, and we're going to gradually, probably every 4 hours, just tighten these clamps just a little until we've got this almost flat. It'll probably take 2 days to do this, and once that's done, I'm going to leave it. It's going to have a total of 5 days rehydrating the wood with this. And after 5 days, when we remove everything, the top, it won't be perfectly flat, it will still have that little bit of arc which we need, but that bridge will pull back so it's straight how it's supposed to be, because we've also got the bulge coming this way and the bridge is pulling forward. So we're going to do that. I've done this successfully 4 times in the past, so I know what I'm doing with that. So that's the first thing we're going to do. The next thing we're going to do is I'm going to remove the saddle, and I'm going to shave underneath. I'm going to shave off the treble side. I'm going to shave 1.5 millimeters on the treble side. Did I say treble before? On the bass side, we're going to shave off 1.5 millimeters. On the treble side, just 0.5 millimeter. That is going to bring the action down just a little. I don't want to go any more than that. And also, we are going to get the neck absolutely straight, with no relief in there whatsoever with the strings on. I've told Mitch we're going for a lighter string. The strings on here at the moment are a set of 1052s, which are not extensively heavy, but I'm going with a set of 1048s. I'll be going for Dragon Skin by DR strings, which are the ones I use. They are an extra light gauge. They are coated. I have used those strings for about 3 or 4 years. My first set lasted me 14 months without loss of tone, coated, brilliant. And the second set I've got on my first guitar, I've had on there 9 months, and they are still going strong. So we're going to go with those. I'll explain more of this as we progress with this work. I just want to explain what we are going to do. Also, the nut is going to need to be cut. The slots are a little bit high above the first fret, and that is it. And I'm hoping to get an action of round about no higher than 2.5 millimeters at the 12th fret on the low E. I don't think it's realistic to expect any less measurement than that because of the way the guitar is, but we'll see what we can do. If I really wanted to, I could remove some material from the top of the bridge. I don't want to be doing that. That's kind of a last resort thing. As long as we get the neck straight and remove some material and get this belly ball sorted out, we'll be all right. Now, some of you might be saying, well, why don't you take the guitar back? Which he's only had it a couple of weeks. I says he could have done that until he put this big scratch in it, and he has put a scratch in the body here, and it's not just a scratch, it's an indentation. Now I've said to him, I can steam that out and I can make it look invisible so it doesn't look like you've done it, but we're not going to be dishonest, we're not going to do that. I'm still going to fix that. I'm going to steam that slightly, I'm going to sand it back, and I probably will make it completely invisible, but it's going to keep the guitar anyway. We're not going to cheat anyone. So I'm going to do that, I'm going to fix that as well. And also this area here, I'm going to restain the fingerboard. This is before I get to the frets. I've not talked about frets yet. I don't even know what condition the frets are in. But I'm going to restain this fingerboard so it is all black. And that should be it. All being well, we'll get this guitar sorted and it will be a beautiful thing to play. It will look great, sound great, and that will be it. So that is my plans. The problem with a job like this, it's difficult to price up because it does take time. And it does need some intricate work. So you're paying for the skill more than the time, because say this took me 8-9 hours, I'm not going to charge for 8-9 hours, but the thing is those 8-9 hours are not manual labour hours. There's going to be a lot of time where it's just sat there doing nothing. The fact is it's also in the way. So you are paying more for expertise. I would have thought to get all of the work done for this, and consider, let's just for one moment just think or take on board that it's not going to need any fretwork at all. I would have thought for a job of this skill level, you would be looking at round about £150 to get this guitar right. If it needed some fretwork or even a fret level, you'd be looking at £200, £225. It may seem a lot, but you are paying for expertise, you're paying for time. There's also, I've got to store this away. Blah blah blah, time in the studio or in the workshop. But anyway, I'm not charging Mitch anywhere near that. Mitch is a friend, and he has a newborn baby, and we've already talked about price, and he's happy to pay what I've quoted him, and it is considerably less than I would have charged anyone who's just bringing a guitar in like this, who is a new client or someone I don't know. So Mitch always gets a little bit of preferential treatment. He's a lovely lad. And that's where I'm going to go with it. I would certainly say with new strings, and if it needed some fretwork for Mitch, we'd be looking at around, I don't know, I'm not going to put a price on it. But he just says, do whatever needs doing anyway, and I'll pay whatever you want. He understands I'm self-employed, and I need to make a living. But anyway, let's see how we go on. This little piece of video I'm going to send to Mitch, just so he can have a little look at it. I know he agrees to everything. I will further to this, I'm going to get the strings off. I will get the neck straight, and we will have a little look at the frets, see what we think, see if we need any fret work, and we shall take it from there. Projects I'm looking forward to, so stay tuned and I'll come back and give you an update shortly. Second thoughts, I'm really not happy with this guitar. I'm going to suggest that my client sends it back. I've altered the truss rod, but to get the neck as straight as I can. Let me just move this guitar back a little. And a few things that really concern me. Okay, the bulge on the back of the guitar. We're talking nearly 3/4 of an inch on the back. It's certainly at least half an inch. Look where we are. That much. That's where I am. Leave my finger there. That's not right. The neck. I have a not straight edge, 25.5 inch scale length. I have this neck as straight as I can get it by altering the truss rod, and trust me, I will alter a truss rod, I will tighten a truss rod a lot more than you do, because I know how much I can get away with. I have snapped a truss rod in the past, and I know over tightening it is going to cause you problems, but I will certainly tighten a truss rod more than your average person would. But anyway, here we go, that's as straight as I can get the neck under tension. I have a 0.25mm feeler gauge. I'm just trying to get this underneath, and I can slide that under. It's just rocking. There you go. So 1/4 millimeter relief at the 7th fret. That is with the truss rod as tight as I dare tighten it. Truss rod adjuster is a 1/4 inch adjuster. I will not tighten that anymore. So we can't get the neck straight. And trust me, if I could sort this guitar out, I would. If there's one thing I do know, it is woods, especially necks. It's why I am fret friend. I am very, well, I have knowledge of necks and frets. It is my specialty area. But anyway, we're going to just measure again at the 12th fret. It's 0.15 inches, or it's just over 4 millimeters at the 12th fret. I will try and show you that on camera, bring it as close as I dare. Are you going to see at the 12th fret? And there you go. I'm hoping you can see that. We certainly have a 4 millimeter action at the 12th fret. I cannot straighten that neck anymore. That's not good enough. That's not good enough for the best possible scenario. Like I say, neck can't be straightened any more than it is. So your action is always going to be 4 millimeters at the 12th fret. I can remove a little bit of the saddle from underneath. But if I remove 1 millimeter from beneath the saddle, it's only going to equate to half a millimeter at the 12th fret, because the 12th fret is exactly halfway between the nut and the bridge or the saddle. So it's not going to be good enough. We're still going to have an action of 3.5 millimeters at the 12th fret, as low as we can get it. It's not good enough. I am going to recommend that Mitch returns this guitar and gets a refund. Like I say, I can sort the belly bulge out, but this is not just belly bulge, this is rippled. You just got to feel it across there. It is not good at all. I'm not happy with this at all. I can bring the bridge back, you know, by getting some moisture into this wood from underneath, from inside the sound hole, but it isn't going to alter the action low enough to get it down to what we're going to want at the 12th fret. So it is my professional recommendation that this guitar is returned for a refund. You need any help with that, Mitch, I will certainly back you up. We'll make this video available to the guy who bought it off. But if I did work on this, I'm going to get you down to about 3 mil at the 12th fret, and that's not low enough for you for where you play. So, you know, this has got to go back. This is very concerning. I know it definitely should have bulge on the back, but should it have that much? It is a lot. It's very pronounced. I don't know. I've talked to a couple of luthier friends. I've been talking to Alan Forsyth up in Scotland there. I'm waiting for an answer from him. I can also contact Nigel Roberts down in Leicestershire there and see what they think, get their opinions. I'm not a luthier. I'm not a guitar builder. I'm a guitar tech, but I've got pretty good knowledge. But I just don't think this guitar is fit for purpose, and it's certainly, we're not able to get it as good as we need it to be. So, Mitch, you need to return this, get a refund. I'll back you up. Good day, friends. I'm going to show you something that doesn't come up very often. It probably happens more often than you believe, but we've got an indentation or a scratch in this guitar here, and I'm going to try and get rid of it, and I'm going to highlight it as much as I can. I'm going to get it wet, and it's a scratch in the guitar going this way. It's got a little bit of depth to it, and I'm going to try and get rid of it, or at least make it completely invisible. And what we're going to do is we're going to steam, or attempt to steam it out, and I've done this successfully quite a few times. I'm just going to get there, and what we're going to use is we're going to use a soldering iron, and I have a soldering iron right here, and we don't want to leave it on too long. It's just damp cloth, and we're going to see if we can just remove that indentation. Maybe I've got too thick. We're going to have a go. And we obviously don't want to scorch wood. Let's try and see where we are. And that is it. I can smell the wood burning, but that, okay, it's not invisible, but it's not too bad. What I could also do is, don't think it's going to have much of an effect. It works better on satin guitars, but what we could do with this is we could put on a wet bandage, which may also work. I may try that and see how we get on, but it doesn't look, it's not as, certainly not as bad as it was. Soldering iron up to the hottest possible. And we'll get some better. We'll get some better damp rag. Let me go and wet that again and see where we are. Okay guys, you can ignore all the gobbledygook I mentioned before. I will still be slightly steaming the top of this body, but the curve underneath is normal for a Taylor. We use a lot of curve underneath. The action, yes, it is high. It's too high, but something I did not know. Taylor introduced a bracing system on all their necks in 2003, and this neck is removable. And there are two bolts here on the heel going in this way, one at the bottom, one at the top, which have a 7/16 of an inch bolt. And there's a 3/16 Allen key that bolts it to the body here. So if I basically loosen this Allen key and remove these two nuts or bolts here, we can remove the neck, and then there is a shimming system inside. I'm going to actually do that. We're going to remove the neck, and I'm going to have a look. I've already removed the sticker from inside the guitar, which I may or may not fit back later. But we're certainly going to undo those bolts, and we're going to remove the neck and have a look under there. And I've also found out that if I let Taylor guitars know the problem with this guitar, they will send shims. Whether we do it free or not, I'm not quite sure, but it's certainly going to be worth exploring that avenue. But if that is the case, which I'm sure it is, we're going to have to fix this, no problem. So let me get some tools out and we will have a go at removing this neck. Go with the bolts removed, we should just be able to shake it, and there you go. That is the neck removed. Build up of gunk around the edge there, but we see there's a shim there which has a, is that a 6 or a 9? Who knows? It certainly has a number on there. We have a marking in there, a Y marking. I say why not? And we do have a signature in there. Nina. 12249. Very good. So there you go. We have some markings in there. IZ or 12 and an M. Don't know what any of those mean. But what we need to do is we need to put shims in here. Now you don't get shims. Oh, here's one shim that was in there, which is a 12. So if that's a 12, that's at the top. So that's maybe a 6. I don't know. But we certainly need. Yeah, it says 12 there. Look. So there you go. One shim goes in there. And the other shim goes here, that way. Well, if that's I don't know what it stands for, but it's definitely a shim. So we need to get the right shims for this, and we can fix the guitar, get the action right. I would certainly think whatever, we need to put a shim in here that is 2mm higher. How does this work? I've got no idea. Well, I've kind of got an idea. So at least the neck is fixable, or the guitar is fixable. I will get it all back together and I will take some measurements for Taylor. We're certainly going to want those measurements. But there you go. How's that? Very, not a strange system, a very good system. So at least we've got the neck off and we know it is fixable. So boys and girls, I got a box of shims, well, a small pack of shims sent to me by Taylor Guitars, and I'll be honest, I don't really see the point. They're not that good, they're rubbish. It's not the rubbish, they're thick on the end, I need them to be thin, and thin on the end, I need them to be thick. For instance, if I'm lowering the action using these shims, the end shims that come here, right, I need them thinner on top and thicker on the bottom. Each one of the ones they've sent me are thinner on the bottom and thicker on the top, which means, right, I'm going to actually make the action higher by tilting my neck back. So absolutely no good at all. I did change this number 6 one though and put a number 20 in there, which is slightly, again, these aren't much different. They're more or less, what's the difference between them three? What difference do you see? You're not thick or thin at one end. I really don't get it. There's hardly any difference between them at all. They're just a bit thinner and a bit thicker. I don't get it. So what I've done is I've changed one under the runoff area. It seems to brought the action down a tiny bit. I put the original 12 back in at the heel. I've tightened everything back up. So these, I waited 4 weeks for these. No waste of time. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to alter the action by removing material from the base of the saddle. And I've got the top and bottom E strings on. I've measured the action on the low, on the high E and the low E. We're 2 3/4mm here. We're 2 1/4mm here. I want to get this down to about 1 3/4 and this down to about 2. So I'm going to remove just under 1mm from the bottom of the saddle. It's not going to alter the brake angle too much, but even if it does, and it will a bit, it's just going to lower the action there. I've got the neck dead straight, no relief in it whatsoever. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get the action lower. If I lower by 1mm here, I get down by 0.5 mm here. And 0.5 mm won't seem a lot, but it does when you've been used to playing electric. And so, it's the only way I can really do it. I'm not going to get an uber low action. I will be cutting the strings closer to the first fret, because there's a lot of height over there. We're a lot high. And what I'm going to do is, once I've got this lower on the saddle, I'm going to cut the knot, and chances are then we're going to have the strings too low. And what I'm then going to do is I'm going to put some relief in the neck, just to make up for how low the strings are. And that's the best way to go about it from what I can see. I don't want to take the action too low. I want to leave it so if I want to, I'm going to want to set some relief in the neck. And the good thing about that is it means the strings are not going to rattle. And we're not going to have an action too low. But I will, if Mitch wants to play with a lower action, you can tighten the truss rod, it will straighten the neck up and it will bring the action down anyway. So that's what I'm going to do. End of the day, I know Mitch, he's not going to sell this guitar. He will never sell this guitar once I've set it up, because he's going to love it. It's a Martin, he's going to love it and he's going to play it. Chances are it won't be that much resellable anyway, because the action will be too low for most players. Most acoustic players like to play with an action round about 2.5, 2 3/4, 3 millimeters at the 12th fret. Personally, for me, that's too high. I would like to get down close to somewhere around about 2 millimeters. 2 1/4 millimeters is probably kind of as low as you want to go. 2 millimeters the very lowest. But this one, I'm going to try and get it down to around about 2 1/4. So I need to remove 0.5 millimeter from a 12th fret, which is removing 1 millimeter from here. So the only way I can really do it is by altering the saddle. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I will take some material off. I will cut the nuts slightly, then we'll get the old strings back on. We'll see what it looks like with the old strings, and if I'm happy enough, we'll set about getting these frets levelled and we can get the guitar all finished. Cracking on with this Taylor, all down to levelling the frets. Couldn't remove a nut because it's set inside into a recess there, and if I knocked it out, this has got a veneer, I'd have to cut the veneer or snap the veneer out as well. So I've left the nut in there. I do have a pre-built nut shelf, which is basically stepped up a cheese wedge of masking tape, and that basically causes or builds a bridge over, and we're able to take leveling beam and level all the way up to the nut. Now you'll see there's a lot of residue already on this fingerboard. That's because I've shown this no mercy. I've gone across with my old SOP leveling file, brand new tool, first time I've used it. It's got 150 grit, it might be a 300 grit, but I think it's 150 grit. Diamond file, perfectly flat, and this, if you've got high frets, this is going to remove the height. So you just make sure you get the neck straight when you come to the frets, and that's going to remove the material, and this is going to smooth it all off. So just hold that in place, not really pressing down as such, just steadying the beam. And now it's just a matter of checking the frets. I've already checked the frets, they are level, but we're going to go again, just for the camera. My GMI fret rocker, my Stumac one. The replacement never arrived. I've had nothing but messing about with Stumac, so I've got my money back. We still haven't paid me import duty back. We've paid me 46 quid back of what it cost. It actually cost me like 60 odd quid. Oh no, they have paid me back, they have paid me import duty, so we'll leave that where it is now. I got me 46 quid back. I will not be buying tools from Stumac. Well, I say that, I won't buy from Stumac again, that's actually a lie. I buy the Diamond Z file from Stumac, but I buy it from Stumac in Italy, from Medinta. Is it Italy or is it Spain? Somewhere anyway. Anyway, checking the frets. These frets are level. Really happy with that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to recrown and we're going to brush all this detritus off here. Happy that the frets are level. Fingerboard's going to need some cleaning, it's got crap all over it. What we're going to do, we're not going to put any oil on that yet. We're going to tape up the fingerboard ready for recrowning these frets. Now I'm going to check the radius. I would imagine it's something around about a 16-inch radius there, so let me get a 16-inch radius tool. And there you go, 16-inch. I've not checked, but it is 16. I'd say that's 16. pretty safe bet that that's a 16-inch radius there. Oh, it could be a bit tighter, it could be a 14. Let's go try 14. It's a 15. There you go, 14. Let's go with 14. Oh, that's a surprise. I did really think that would be a 16. It seems to be much closer to a 14 to me. Okay, let's go with the 14. I'm quite happy with that. Let me see if we've got a 14 block with some sandpaper on. 9.5, 12, 14, but it's only got 240 grit on. Oh, it's been used though. That's pretty good. So let's just get these marked up and we'll just check the radius. I'm going to go with a green pen. This is all live, by the way, more or less. I'm not starting the video. I like to crack on with it. Now, we had a lot of indentations in these frets, but they're gone now. You know, imagine the shape of an umpty back camel or a Loch Ness Monster's back. All a bit umpty there. We've got them. And so we are going to have to recrown these. But I'm just going to check with the radius block to just see if we do have a 14-inch. Still thinking it should really be a 16. Anyway, let's crack some pen on there and just see exactly where we are. Okay, so if this is a 14-inch radius, this should come off really quickly. And that is all gone. We are a 14-inch radius, that's beautiful. Just going to go a couple of strokes, nice straight strokes. And there you go, that pen is all off. It means we've maintained the radius all along the length, which is beautiful. The reason I'm not oiling this yet and getting rid of all this crap is I've got to stick tape on here for the recrowning of the frets. It's going to move this away. But that was nice. People, sometimes I get queries saying, how can you keep the radius with this level beam? Well, what you do is you just follow the radius itself and watch where the file or the beam goes here. When I get to this side, I don't follow the line because you do that on a comparison, but you just stay horizontal or stay in line. So when I get to this, see how it's overlapping there but it's at the edge here, and you do the same at this end, and when you come to do this part of the radius, you're here. You're following the exact radius, you see, so we'd be on the edge there but we'd be overlapping just there, and that's how we do it. We always keep the file straight. That is gliding across superbly, so I know we've got a really, really good radius there. Everything's level. So we're now ready to do the recrowning. Now, recrowning is a different kettle of fish. So let me just take up a couple. I'm going to show you a couple of frets. It's quite difficult. It'd be easier if I had this in a brace or in the neck jig, because then the guitar wouldn't be moving. But I'm going to soldier on with it like so. Some kind of clamping device would have been really nice, but that's something I'll look into a little bit later on. Let me just zoom in a little, because I want you to be here. And there you go. It's as much as I want to zoom in because we might be losing focus. So let me get a nice dark pen. And I'm just going to do the first two. I'm happy with the action on the guitar now. But there you go. I'm just going to tape up a couple of frets. I will be taping up all of the frets, or between all of the frets, should I say. Once I've done these two, I'm just going to, just for doing these two, to show you how we go on. Again, this guitar belongs to as much a friend as he is a client, so I've done him a pretty good deal on this. There you go, so we've got two frets, or between two frets taped on. What we're going to do is black marker across the top of the fret, because what we've done is now we've levelled these frets, flattened them. We have flattened them going this way. We normally have a crown, so what we're going to do is we're going to rebuild that crown. This will go in this way, so we don't have flat spots on top of the frets, and that's because we want the amount of fret to touch the bottom of the string to be a minimal amount. We're looking for about 0.5 millimetre, certainly 0.4 So 0.5mm is pretty good. Now what I normally do this, or I used to always do this with a 3-cornered file. I do it by hand. But I don't actually do that anymore because I've got this fantastic new file called a Z file or a Z file from Stumac, and this file alone cost me 125 quid. I'm going to show you in a minute. I'm going to save that as a little present in a minute. So first I'm going to need a rag. Now in the old days, and I've always preferred to do this, I take a 3-cornered file which has got 3 edges. It's got a flat edge and 2 angled, and each of these corners has been ground so it's smooth, not flat but smooth, so that way when we're filing across we don't dig into the fingerboard. I still tape up anyway, but what we do is then we build the crown up by filing across, and on the far side I'll lean the file toward the camera and I'll start to build up that crown. And again on this side I'll lean the file away from the camera and we'll start to build it this side. Can you see what we're doing there? And where the fret was flat, we're now building that crown there. I've just got a thin black line down the centre there. Now, I don't have to use this file anymore because I bought a fantastic file from Stumac called a Z file, and this is a offset one. It's got a long side and a short side, and there, long side and a short side. And what it does is it cuts each side, but it doesn't touch the middle of the fret, and it's fantastic because it means I don't have to use my 3-corner file anymore. I can do it with this file, and this will cut that crown for me in just a couple of strokes. It's a diamond file, costs £125 this file, but it's worth every penny. And basically 2 or 3 strokes, turn it over, 2 or 3 strokes the other side, and that has built that crown for me. And what I do then is I will take my profiling file, which is this one, already got a perfect arc on there, and it'll just a matter of going over and just cleaning it up. Any burrs or anything that's left on there we'll now get rid of. And that has completely re-crowned that fret, and it's not taken off any height because it's not touched the top. And to prove it's not taken off any height, we're going to take a fret rocker and we're going to look for a rock, and we don't get a rock, and it means the height has been maintained. So I'll show you that one more time. Always clean the file, and this one, because you will get residue. And again, that's probably as much from a pen. There you go there, and this side. And hopefully I can just show that thin black line down the centre of that fret. Can you see it? And that's beautiful. It means we've not taken the height off, we're not even touched the top of that fret, and that is just beautiful. And it makes my job so much easier. Then again with this one, just to remove any burrs or any unevenness if there is any, we'll take the fret rocker again and we'll just check that we've taken no height, and we haven't. Go on to the next one, and there you go. So that's it, 2 done. I have however many there are, with what's that, 15, right, 18, so I've got 16 more to do. I'm going to tape up the rest of the fingerboard. I'm going to get the rest of the frets done. Once that's done, we can move on to the polishing. I really do hope I'm not too close with the camera on there, because it looks like we might be a little bit out of focus. I do apologise for that. Maybe there would have been better. But anyway, you get the idea. I'm going to tape up the rest of the fingerboard, I'm going to get the rest of the frets done, and then we can move on to the polishing. Well, friends, we are just about done with this tailor. I've just polished the frets using 6 different grits of sandpaper, from 600 grit through to 2000. So the grits will be 600, 800, 1000, 1200, 1500 and 2000. And we're just going to finish off polishing with steel wool. First we go up with bevels, like so, and then finish across the top of the fret. Get right in there, get into the corners, far side, near side, back across the top, and that's that one done. Same again. Corners, corners, back across the top. It's going to take me a few minutes to get this done. Maybe you'll see this first one. This brings it up really, really shiny. And there you go. So 15, 16 more to do. To get that done, we'll get the tape peeled off, we'll treat fingerboard, clean up the nut, get some new strings on, and we'll get the guitar set up. Just remembered I had to scrape, or I'm having to scrape the fingerboard. And this fingerboard, all these looks like white or grey lines on there are dead skin, and this is it, and I'm going to show it you. And there you go. And that's what I've got to scrape off. And it's disgusting, and that's people's dead skin because they don't wipe the fingerboards when they change the strings. You know, and that is pretty gross. Look at that. And again, got 2 more to go, and I'm going to show you. I've doused the fingerboard in lemon oil, or mineral oil as it ought to be called. And there you go. And that's what I'm scraping off, all that gunk there. That's off people's fingers. And I did really douse this in lemon oil. And you want to see what's just the other side of that knot. And there you go. That's just off 1 fret. Look at that. Pretty gross, yeah? So let's just give them a wipe. And now with that dead skin wiped off, we'll give another coating of oil. Look at that. Pretty gnarly, isn't it? So when you buy a guitar from someone, expect all this crud to be there. Even if you can't see it, it's got to be there, I guarantee it. And there you go. How wonderful is that? But anyway, it's gone now. And that looks really good. We're going to discard this kitchen roll. Let's get rid of that. Horrible. And I will use a pre-oily rag. Anyway, just to go and clean up now between the frets. And this is going to look wonderful. It does look wonderful. Looks like a new neck. It means look like new frets. Mitch is a returning client. I've been working on Mitch's guitars for 3-4 years now, definitely 3 years. And he'll only bring it, he lives at Rotherham Way, and he'll only bring his guitars to me. He's looked for people up there, and he says there's no one he trusts. He just wait until he's coming down this way, and he's going to bring them down to me, because I'm the only person he trusts, because he knows he gets the job done right. But anyway, there you go. That's looking really good. It looks fantastic. So we have the neck reset, thanks to Taylor for the shims descent, which weren't perfect, but I have altered the bridge. I'll explain more about that once I've got the strings on. So I'm going to now put some strings on. I'm going to leave this bit here, where it's not been stained. I'm going to totally leave it, and just let that, because that's natural, so I'm going to let it shine or come through as it is. That, my friends, to me looks absolutely fabulous. What a beautiful fingerboard. So we've got the neck set now, we've got the bridge cut. We're going to have a nice low action now, and it's going to play like a Taylor should play. It already sounds like a Taylor should sound. I've played it. I've only played it unplugged. I haven't plugged it in because the battery's flat, but it sounds great unplugged anyway. Probably doesn't sound as good as my Furch, but then again, Furch, pretty special guitars, proper handmade guitars. Anyway, there you go. Here we are, friends, all done. Taylor 214 CE, electro-acoustic. I'll just need to stick the battery compartment back in there. Battery's dead, by the way. We need to change that, but there you go. Beautiful looking guitar, but it came in with an action as high as a kite. I've got the action as low as I possibly can. We are 2mm above the 12th fret on the first string and 2.5mm on the 6th string. I took the bridge down a little. We put some new shims in there, sent to me by Taylor Guitars. I'm not convinced they sent me the right shims because they seem to work the opposite way to what I want them to work. I needed them to bring the neck down and they really didn't. So using a little bit of trickery and by filing the bridge, I've managed to get the action down a little bit. Not convinced they are the right shims. Absolutely not worthwhile if they are not the right ones, are they? But we have got the action down. The guitar has been set up. I've given it a full fret level and a fret reprofile. The frets now look brand new. They look truly fantastic. The guitar sounds fantastic as well. Really good looking thing. So we've done the best we can with it. I've got my neck more or less dead straight, no relief at all. But yeah, what a beautiful looking thing. We've got it a nice clean up, and I'm sure Mitch is going to be pleased. So that's it. Last one I'm doing before Christmas 2019. It is 24th of December today. It is about 13:30, about 1:30 in the afternoon, and I'm pretty much done until, well, I'll be working, I think I'll be working, probably working Boxing Day, because my wife's out working in Nottingham all week, so probably going to be working Boxing Day, Thursday. That'll be Thursday anyway, will it? Yeah, there you go. So I'm going to be working Boxing Day anyway, but that is it. So everyone, hope you have a great Christmas, but this is it until after Christmas. Just remind you of my website before I go, facebook.com/ng17. That's facebook.com/NGONESEVEN. I am Victor, I am your fret friend, and until the next one, as always, God bless you, be good to each other, and I'll see you at the next one.